Welcome to Living Single with Danny. As always, I am Danny, and in front of me is Dan.
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Sun shining, no complaints. Spring is among us.
Is it?
It is, man. Can't wait to frolic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Today we're joined by a special guest. Would you like to do the pleasure of introducing yourself to our audience?
Sure. I'm Kiana Williams. I'm a life coach. A lot of people know me as a singer-songwriter, though.
Yeah, you were showing me the videos. I was like, okay,
what video did you see?
I think it was Lauryn Hill.
Okay, X Factor.
Yeah.
Was I singing that?
I mean,
okay.
if you wanna,
if you
want to dazzle,
we are in the market for a intro song.
Yeah. Oh, really?
We are.
Dan is a rapper, so if y'all want to collab,
I got talent.
Yeah, so I was, like, most people I think know me from that. And then I transitioned, and I was like, well, I'm more than just a person that sings and, like, can take cute pictures. So then I was like, let me let you guys into how it would be to actually have a conversation with me in real life, because in real life, I think on Instagram, people assume that if you, like, have a lot of followers and, like, whatever, that you have nothing to talk about in real life.
Yeah.
That you are, like, an airhead and there's no substance. And so I was like, that's not me. So I feel like I need to let people see how it really is.
All right, so two things. I want to learn more about that substance and that transition. But first, can you tell us one fun fact about yourself?
So my dad was in the military, so I grew up a lot of places. I lived in Japan for about 3 years.
Wow.
What age?
I was really young, so I was maybe from 3 to 6.
That's influential times, though. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember 3 to 6.
Yeah.
I don't remember 3 to 6.
You don't remember anything from 3 to 6?
I mean,
like 6?
Somewhat. I think I remember like bits and pieces
Yeah.
of like kindergarten,
Yeah.
like certain experiences, but not.
You're supposed to be able to have like episodic memories from the age of 5 up.
Really?
That's the.
Do you remember anything?
I
don't
can
want to
remember like little things like the building we lived in,
Mhm.
like certain birthdays, like that kind of thing, but not like my day-to-day life, like walking through the streets of Japan. Like
I remember mad stuff from being 4. I don't know why. I think it's before I moved to Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And I just remember everything when we were in
You was
Goldsboro.
New Orleans?
I was born in Louisiana, so he picks on me and
Okay.
say
I
like,
can
"Oh,
see
you're
that.
from New Orleans." So I was in Louisiana, then I moved to Goldsboro, North Carolina, then Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now Charlotte, North Carolina. But I just remember mad stuff like about that time. But,
Yeah.
So got good memory. I feel good about that. But the transition from singing into being a life coach, what outside of like showing people the real you more than just the Instagram side of you, what like motivated you to do that?
So I would say it was when I decided that I wanted to write a book. So I had always wanted to be an author. Like that was like a life goal. I always loved reading. I loved like smelling books. Like for Christmas and stuff, I would ask for like Books A Million gift cards. Or
that's
like
cute. Yeah.
I love reading. And so when I decided like I'm gonna write a book, I decided what I was gonna talk about, and then it was like it opened up the floodgates. It was like, wow, like these are all topics that naturally are coming to me. And I always thought my gift was singing until I started writing. And I'm like, my gift is writing, for one. My gift is like asking questions and then creating safe spaces. And so then in trying to figure out, okay, I want to write this book, but I want to seem as an authority because people don't know me as an authority in this lane, although I'm super knowledgeable in this. I was like, okay, what can I do to give me credibility? And so after like research, I took a life coach course. And so I'm a certified life coach.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Do you have any like testimonials so far as a life coach that you like to like brag about or that you're super proud about?
So I mean, I have a lot of people who it's impossible to go through my process and not come out a different person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel strongly about that. And so like the book that I've created, it's Ready to Mingle. We'll talk about that. We can talk about that because I know what you're thinking. Ready to Mingle, a 66-day baggage check. And so what it does is for 66 days, it's activities, it's reading, and it takes you through like all kinds of stuff that you probably don't want to think about. Like, for instance, what is the most betraying thing that you've done to somebody else?
Self-work.
Yeah, it's the book to help you work on yourself when you don't know where to start.
I want to think about that. I don't know.
I mean, that's fire, though.
I don't know if I want to say it. Can you think of, like, what's the most betraying thing you've done?
That's hard.
Betraying thing I've done
To somebody else.
To somebody else. That's just the most betraying thing I've done ever.
What's the most betraying thing you've done to somebody else?
Damn.
It's tough, right?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
It's tough. And so, like, that's an actual prompt in my book. Actually, I think it's, like, the second prompt. Like, you start the
Goodness,
book.
you're not going to ease them into it. I'm like, nah, fam. Let us know right now what you've done.
Yeah.
I can't answer that to what I've done to myself.
Yeah, and that's
not
even
to others.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. It was hard for me to do it. So everything that I asked someone to do in the book, I did too. Because you can't ask someone to give you information that you're not willing to divulge. That's not creating a safe space.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I thought about it, I was like, well, I feel like I'm a great person. Like, I don't feel like I do betraying things to people. And then I had to really sit and think. So I'm going to give you mine, and it might make you think differently about what your answer would be. So I went back. So I wrote one copy of the book, one edition, and then I gave it to 10 people, had them read it, do the exercises, and give me feedback because I really wanted it to be impactful.
Yeah.
The feedback was, we love the parts where you talk about you, so we want more of that. Like, yeah, the questions are great, and, like, you're great at creating this philosophical, like, whatever, but we want to hear more of you. So I went in and I did more, like, exposing me because I'm very private. And so, like, when I talked about what's the most betraying thing I've done to someone, I am a distant person. It's very difficult to get to know me on purpose. And so what I realized is I'm like the type of person, like the friend where I don't need to talk to you every day for us to be friends. Like, but when we talk to each other, like, we're good. Like, it's like no time passed. And so in doing that, though, I think about, and this is something I talk about in the book, like the social contract. So like any relationship that you have with somebody else, there's a social contract there, whether you state it or not. Mm-hmm. So whether it's my contract with him is that he's going to take my pictures and I need to like whatever, like there's an expectation on my end and on his end as well. When you talk about your friends, I believe like to be a good friend, like you need to be, you know, compassionate. You need to be a sounding board for that person. You need to be able to trust that person. They should be able to trust you. I realized in my distance, it limits my ability to fully be there for the people that rely on me for that in their life.
Gotcha.
So in that way, that is betraying to them because our contract states that I'm going to do this and they're going to do this in return. But by me not being able to be there or be there on my terms, it's betraying them.
Gotcha.
I'm about to say I agree 100%. I think a lot of times it's about understanding who you are and understanding the important people in your life and what they need.
Exactly.
Because again, if it's just some Joe Smo, you may not need to. Because for what? No, I'm not opening. That's not me.
Right.
But if somebody's close to me and that's what they need from me, if I do care about them in this relationship, with friendship, business, whatever, professional, I have to do X, Y, Z to maintain it and to help it flourish.
Exactly.
It's just how it has to be.
So my question is, because I feel like the best life coaches experience something that make them want to, that flip the switch to want to change and help people. Mm-hmm. So what was it that either you experienced personally that led to you wanting to shift your focus from entertainment to being a person that serves others?
Mm-hmm. So I think when I think about themes, because I think a lot of us have common lessons or themes that reoccur in their life, I feel like I tend to stay connected to a lot of people that are similar to me in some ways in terms of like being private or whatever. But I feel like one thing that I realized was a lot of people struggle in silence. And I credit that to our culture where, you know, you're taught like, what goes on in the house stays in the house. Like, you don't really trust strangers with your business. Like, family business stays in the house. And, like, I realized, like, even with my dad growing up, he's different than what you would probably expect a Marine Corps man to be. But I think I realized, I told my dad at a very young age, and I talk about this in the book, I feel like Dad, I would think I was like 8 years old, and I was like, Dad, it seems like you have some unresolved childhood issues because I had saw it on Oprah.
My parents would have been like, hush.
Oh yeah, he was mad, like very upset because he was like, what are you like?
Yeah, what do you know?
Yeah, like 8-year-old Kiana, like who are you to tell me that? But I realized like it's true, and I think so many black men. I wrote my book really for black men, but I market it to black women because I feel like black men specifically, they are not supposed to be emotional. They're not supposed to care about things. There are no places really for a private person like me or like you, probably private, to really do self-work. And so I wanted to create that platform because I think one of the trends that we see is, okay, Black people, there's a stigma around mental health. There's a stigma around therapy. Not so much anymore. People are starting to embrace that. But there's still people like me where I went to a therapist and I felt like I was being judged. So what if there was this work, this resource that people could do the work by themselves and it really have impact? Because so many times we say, like, I want to work on myself, but what does that look like?
Yeah. So you define what that truly means.
Right.
Because, I mean, for everybody, it looks different. Like, for me, it was a dive into spirituality and starting to rethink and question a lot of things that I learned, patterns, behaviors. But for others, it may be exploring traumas that they may not know that they have.
Exactly.
Right? And I feel like I have something that makes me this way from my relationship with my father, but I don't know what questions to ask myself to get me to think even back to, you know.
I got something for you.
what may have happened to really make me think this way. Because in the moment, it's like, I'm a kid. I'm just going with the flow. But it could have prevented something from maturing correctly.
Yeah, I mean, and to what you were saying, like, I'm not an open person. That's what, I'm not going to speak for Danny, but that's what this podcast is for me. I don't always tell all of my business or 100% the truth, but it's an opportunity for me to have a real conversation with another person.
Right. That's
either going to make me think so I can go home and have a conversation with myself, or it's going to lead to me opening up, one of the two. But either way, it's not just me, going through the motions of a Black man, or it's not just me going through the motion of, I hope I meet a girl that I can vaguely or remotely talk about half the stuff that I actually want to talk about.
Right.
Nah. Or me saying, like, Dad, the homie's going to look at me crazy if I tell them this. Like, because, again, our we don't talk about that for what? Like, nah, we talk about sports, women, something crazy. Like, it's nothing deep. It was never, I never saw no man talk about nothing deep with another man.
Right.
For whatever reason. I don't know to do that. I've never seen it. So that's what this podcast was for us. And then for me, something that solidified is we used to do IG Lives a lot when we were first starting. And then people would get up there, like, we would get like mad people in there commenting, talking. And somebody was like, yeah, I just feel like this is such a safe space. And that hit me. Like, I didn't know that person from Adam. Like, I had no idea who they were. So first of all, you're a stranger that didn't know us. You chose to be in here and you felt comfortable. Yeah. That was crazy to me. It didn't put like a sense of responsibility. Like, we got to be this certain way every single time. But what it did, it just lit a fuel under me, like a fire, like, nah, keep doing what y'all doing. Keep being genuine. Whether that's, again, opening up every time, providing safe space every time, making laughs, whatever it is, keep doing it. Because it's resonating with some people. Right. And it could be making a difference. So,
So switching that up a little bit, but back on Ready to Mingle, because when I hear that, I'm thinking this from a dating perspective. You're getting somebody prepared to, quote unquote, mingle, for lack of a better sense. But I also see it from the perspective of you need to be complete in your self-work before you can really date someone the right way.
Oh, you did that.
So.
You know what? I wonder if you would have answered it differently before I explained
Nope.
more.
Probably.
But
nope. He cheated.
No, that's good, because that is the whole thing. Like, a lot of people say, I'm single and ready to mingle. And then, like, I know you've been crying last night about Joe.
J. Blige.
I know you're not over it. So what I wanted to create was something where we stop doing that, because when we go out and we're mingling with other people, whether that's in business, family relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, we are spreading our stuff to those people, like, just in the course of our conversation or our attitude or our outlook and all those things. And so I wanted to create something where people could do the work before you go out and mingle. So I'm getting you ready to mingle with other people.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes back to timing. When you said we're out and about, whatever interactions we're having with each other, we're spreading. Like, everything happens for me at a certain time for a certain reason. And what I mean by that is, like, I just got a new job. I believe. Thank you. I believe everything I did prior to that, I wasn't ready for this job before. If I would have got the job before, I would have spreaded some negative energy, thought, some immaturity, whatever else into the situation, and I might not have made it. So that's when I think about time, and like you got to take that time to do that self work to find out if you're actually ready to mingle before you actually go and do it. So I think again that's in every circle of life, friendships, romantic relationships, professional, whatever. Like even social life, we all creatives. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a good hold on yourself. I think to interact with people that are trying to mix or mingle with your brand. So
agreed.
So where are you right now as far as your relationship status goes? Are you mingling? Are you in a relationship? Or are you still in the self-work stage?
So I am in a relationship. Nobody really know. Like, people don't ask. They just, I don't know what people, what would you assume based on like my
I think is
persona?
When I wouldn't assume, like it could go either way. You don't do anything that's over like, oh, I'm in a relationship, and you don't do anything that says overly I'm single. So I just think you're you, which I like personally, because that's how I am. That's how I am. Like my social media is my social media. Now, if I was the type of person to like blast relationships, all that prior, then when I'm in a relationship, I would do. That's not me. I don't think the people that follow me to see relationship stuff. Yeah. Not that I'm posting for the people following me, but like. I'm posting to be me. That's why they follow. Like, I'm not gonna switch up just come in a relationship. That's what I'm saying. Like, whenever you got in a relationship, you didn't switch your content. You stayed your course for you. Yeah. Not to say you can't post stuff for your significant other, but like, so I say all that to say I don't know. She could be either. I would have to ask. You know,
yeah. People don't know. People assume I'm single though.
Yeah, I would assume the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you well put together.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, we can talk. We can talk about this.
What does that mean? What do you perceive for me? Because you've talked to me for about, I guess, 10 minutes. Yeah. What was your perception of me?
I mean,
I'm life coaching you, right?
I didn't perceive. I didn't perceive you to not have anything together. So like, seeing you explain the book yourself, it's consistent.
Okay.
With the image. So. But that image also points to a woman who a man would be attracted to. So
I'm a wife.
Right? Talk your talk, queen.
So it doesn't surprise me that you are in a relationship.
Oh, that's nice.
I think
it's very nice. Because I've only talked to you on Instagram. Yeah. So how am I in person compared to what you thought?
I try not to.
But you do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like I didn't have no like crazy connotations. Like you seemed like you were about. You put your heart in whatever you had going on. Because again, I saw you guys like Stonee Brooks, like so
right, you saw the transition.
Yeah.
Right?
So like you put your.
Oh, did you know?
I remember now.
Oh yeah, I'm Stonee Brooks.
Okay.
My bad.
My bad. I don't remember no singer.
Is Kiana Williams.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Rebrand is real.
Okay,
I want to shine Moss. He didn't do it so smooth, did he? This is different. This is legit.
Okay. I'm with it.
That's
I'm caught up.
You know what I'm saying? But that's also though like two different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Didn't even realize it was the same person.
Nope. I would have never known.
So who did you think Stonee was?
See?
I didn't know.
See, Stonee actually had intelligent things to say, and people didn't know.
Yeah. So do you ever want to pursue that life again, or is that completely in the past?
I struggle with that right now. It's interesting that you asked that because, so going back to what it was like to rebrand, it's been tough. Because when you have thousands of people that know you for this, I get questions all the time, like, when is Stonee coming back? Or like, when are you gonna put out another song?
You know, I'm the same
like,
person, right?
Yeah, like, Stonee is me. So that's tough because what I struggle with is I know I impacted people, like the fact that you still know who Stonee Brooks is, and I changed that like a year ago.
That's crazy.
It's like,
but he knew that instantly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Stonee.
Have your autograph?
So like that part, it's hard to switch people over. And then I'm like, well, am I impacting enough people as Kiana, like the life coach? Like I think enough people don't talk enough about what it's like to be a person that's gifted in multiple things.
Yeah.
And so that is tough when you are saying like, I don't want to just do music, although I always thought that was my gift. And then I'm like, well, this looks like a new gift that I have to be able to open people up. I don't know. So Stonee may make a comeback, but Stonee may be Kiana, but it may be like the same. I don't know. That's a good question though.
I like that. The duality of it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My boy, shout out to George Wills. He makes, these marvelous bracelets, and they're multicolored to go with the duality of personalities. So each one is custom made. So shout out to him. But
What?
That's what he told me. That's what he told me. And that's what made me think about it. I know that was like completely random, but I'm wearing it, so I wanted to plug them. But
I thought duality meant two.
it does. Multiple colors. One, the red and the green. We don't got to get caught on that. That's not
Two
important.
colors, not multiple.
Listen, brown beads too, man. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Shout out to him, man. Look, that's the whole point. Anyway, what I was going to say is I have multiple Instagram pages. I have a personal
6
and
of them to be exact.
Do you really have 6
it's probably 4
that you use? All of them?
Yes,
for the most
you
part.
post
Really?
actively.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
One dedicated just to
That's
his
a
hair.
lot.
I can explain. I
It's
can
okay, I'm not
explain.
judging.
It sounds like you're judging. No.
So you can show your duality through one page.
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's what I was getting at. That's what I was trying to get at. So I was saying that because as I'm learning and transition, like different, like what I want to do and all that, I didn't want to put my hair all over my regular page. Nobody wants to see that. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Also, he was joking, saying like I'm a rapper. I'm not a rapper, but I have the talent to rap.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be in studio, but it's just a passion to like, if we just had a session like spit, like that's my passion.
Okay.
So I got paid for that because I never want to be in studio, but at the same time, like if I hear a dope beat every now and then I rap. So I just made a page so when I rap, I could just put it out there. So I have these different pages. Like if you want to follow. I'm not making nobody follow them. I'm not exposing my normal followers on my normal page too if they don't want to. I'll put it on my story here and there. If they want to support it, they can go follow. If not, and to me that helps with, like you said, people on your page that knew you from Stonee.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're still there for a life coach. So they might
Right.
see the life coach keep scrolling like, I don't want that. I don't want to post a hair page like this stupid hair or this stupid music. Nah. Like, I'm going to have an own page, both with hundreds of followers on their own, 100, 200, we keep it light. But either way, I built that organically. No different than the
Straight out the
pod.
mud.
Straight out the mud, man. No different than the podcast page. Like, we post on our personal page, but we wanted something for that brand. We didn't want to make, Home to Living Single podcast and then just my page, a bunch of podcast stuff. Some of my followers don't listen to podcasts.
That's true.
It's pointless.
I'm gonna be honest, it's been tough
Yeah.
because I went from I could post a picture and get like 1,000 likes on the picture, like easy, to like now it's like.
Don't you hate that? Like, we're like, fam, like I know y'all see this because I just got like.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like you change stuff up and then people sometimes. I mean, and Instagram changes the algorithm all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's just a matter of how social media is now evolving. Like, I'm interested to see what the next platform will be.
TikTok.
But it's becoming, people get on it to grow a following, et cetera, then eventually to monetize, right?
Right.
But with you monetizing on a free platform, Instagram's not going to allow you to make money without paying them first. So they're going to make you pay for sponsors, for ads and all that just to try to get the same traffic that you would if you was half naked, because people on Instagram looking at the women that are half naked.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I'm kind of over Instagram, to be honest. I'm about to.
Bebo about to come back.
Did you ever use Bebo?
Bebo was the black MySpace.
No.
Where did you go to middle school at? Like what city?
I was here.
You was here?
Charlotte.
Dang, Charlotte didn't have
was
Bebo?
down here.
I don't know about that one. I'm really about to put my energy into YouTube, honestly.
Yeah, YouTube is dope too.
Yeah. I used to put a lot of energy into it, and then.
Well, do you have like a strat? I don't want you don't have to tell it on there. Like, but of course we have the visual aspect or component to our podcast. So figuring out the YouTube algorithm is difficult.
It's different.
Especially I think we recently put our episodes on IGTV too, because the biggest thing for me is limiting the consumer path. So if you have to click on the story, click on the link in bio, then find the link for YouTube, like that's a lot of steps versus just, okay, profile, IGTV, watch. So did that for impressions, but also keeping a YouTube up there, utilizing different things, whether it's thumbnails and all that, because I realize you're going to get, for us, we're going to get trickles from Instagram there, Twitter, wherever else on YouTube. But the goal is to get the YouTube people to watch the YouTube, because telling whoever, hey, watch this on YouTube.
Exactly.
I don't have a YouTube profile. Not knowing that Gmail is automatically connected, but like it's hard to pitch that as much.
Yeah.
So it's just finding a way to get the people that are on YouTube to watch the YouTube.
Exactly. So. That's what I had conversations like back when I used to do covers all the time. And my friend, she was like, you need to like post it on Twitter and Instagram and get those people to come and Facebook. And I'm like, no, I want my YouTube channel to sustain itself.
Yeah.
And so do y'all do keywords and all that
stuff?
Yeah. Okay.
Just getting into it though, because to be honest,
put your attention in that.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yep.
And if you're going to use Instagram, don't put your whole thing on Instagram because they're not going to go to YouTube and watch it. If your goal is YouTube, my perception of you, I'm about to life coach you.
Oh yeah. You asked us what we thought. Let me know what you thought and how is it now that we like 5-10 minutes in. I would love 25. I would 25. I'm actually curious because a lot of people like idea of me is like completely opposite. So I'm just curious.
I figured you're very nice.
Oh, thank you.
You come across as very nice and genuine. Oh. You seem a bit scattered.
I am.
Very much so.
You seem
Thank you, Danny. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You seem like you have a lot of interest, but you've yet to pinpoint your one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would think that whatever you're spending the most of your time in right now is not necessarily what you want to be doing.
2K.
I'm not spending enough time in 2K.
I should be.
Yeah. More. And I don't know if it's a lack of direction or a lack of confidence, but there's something that you want to be doing that I think you're missing whatever your gift is.
I could be. That's true. We had an episode talking about I'm not gonna say duality, but like the thin line between like insecurity and ego. And I discussed that like a lot of times my ego is just masking the insecurity. Okay. Like I would try to compensate using my ego and insecurity. But I think it's a couple of things you said, but I think life moves fast for one, and two, I think I'm multi-talented. Like I said, I got 6 pages. Like again, my talent isn't.
That's a clear telltale.
Exactly. My talent isn't showing my hair,
right.
But at the end of the day, like I would like to do. Follow _styles on Dan when y'all get the chance. If you listen to this, check it out. I'll show you after the pod.
Yeah, show me.
But life moves fast. There's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot that I thought I wanted to do. As I was growing up, I've told this story before, like, I think 2 can play that game. And one other, it's like in both movies, I believe Morris Chestnut was this black executive in the office top level, looked out the window. To me, that was success.
Okay.
That's what I thought was success. So that was my goal. Like in some form or fashion, no matter what the career is, get to that level. And that would be success. And then maybe 3-4 years ago, I realized like that's not success for me. Like that's not for me. Like I would rather do X, Y, Z or do it this way. And then so I'm on the path now where I'm discovering what I need, what I want, and how I need it and how I want it. So that's one level. And then once I get there, I'll be able to take the step. So figuring it out, but time doesn't wait for nobody.
It doesn't.
So
it doesn't.
Just trying to make sure I don't rush it though, because that's not going to solve anything either.
Well, I'm going to give you an exercise that I want you to do.
I would love that.
So one thing, I feel conflicted between the two. One thing, I don't know if you have actual expectations for what your life is supposed to look like. So I would like for you to spell those things out. The other thing
Let's
that I would...
right now.
Oh, you want to do that?
You go first, since you want to be all gun-ho.
She didn't even do me
I didn't even do him yet. I think he has different issues than you. So I think...
He does have different issues than me. His beard doesn't even connect, but...
Not issues as
No. You said what you said. It's cool. It's cool. We get it. We're here. All right. So what's your question?
What are your expectations for your life in terms of how do you expect to be treated? What do you expect to have around you? What does success look like for you? Like, what are the expectations for your life?
Okay. I'm going to try to remember all 3. How do I want to be treated? Just respect. Like, I'm cool. Like you said, I'm nice. I'm good. So I don't treat anybody wrong. So for me, anybody disrespecting me is like the ultimate disrespect.
Does that happen to you often?
No.
Do you feel disappointed by people often?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. And the disrespect doesn't happen to me often because, again, I carry myself in a way that I don't warrant that energy towards me or that disrespect towards me.
Okay.
For one. And then as far as the disappointment thing, no, there's nothing, you have to and not saying like I'm anti, like I don't put nothing in anybody else to want to be the, but no, I'm concerned about myself and getting right for me. Like there's nothing that somebody's really doing that would disappoint me because I realize they're in their life and that's their journey. So
okay,
like,
let me ask you this, because I find when people say that, it's a defense mechanism.
Okay.
You've been disappointed before.
Somebody disappointed.
No, she said have been disappointed a lot.
Hold on. You're not on the life.
Yeah, man. Life goes, bro. Let me get my therapy session.
Yeah. I wait for mine patiently.
Yeah, goodness. His issue is not having patience. Go ahead.
I've found that a lot of times we say, like, I don't want to set expectations for people because we believe inherently that they're going to disappoint us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my question is, I do believe what you're saying, that at some point you were disappointed by someone. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times we then put up this shield like, I'm not going to expect anything. I'm going to worry about me. But we still can't help but to want people to treat us the way that we, treat them or...
Yeah. I mean, I have been disappointed, but not like a lot or to the frequency that I thought you were asking. I think the most disappointing things, just the two front of mind, have been in relationships, which is, excuse me, why I've been more closed off in different relationships. Feel like you're hard to read, all that fun stuff. And then just with like career-wise. Okay. Like applying for jobs, not getting like, dang, am I not getting enough? My resume say S white. So those are the two things that happen frequently that like are front of mind. On a regular day-to-day, I can't really think of anything that happens frequently enough. Okay. That I associate myself with.
So let me ask you this, and then I'll let you pass on the other questions. You can answer them.
Okay.
Because I know I'm taking over y'all show, and I'm not gonna do that.
You're good. You're good. You're the
good content.
It's good content. The people want to know this about me, man. They ask all the time.
Probably, yeah. So when you think about, so right now I'm gearing up to do like a confidence challenge.
Yeah.
So when you think about the job like that you just got.
Yeah.
If you had more confidence, would you still pursue that job?
Would I still have pursued it? Yes.
If you had more confidence, what would be the pinnacle, like your dream job that you would feel comfortable going towards?
Fulfilled.
Yeah, like that would be like, yes, like I'm making myself so proud by doing this.
Right now, I think it is where I'm at.
It's that?
Yeah, it's where I'm at. It's because I've worked, a lot of people that know me know how hard, even though I was getting the no's, the first one or two no's really like stung. Yeah. But after that, it made me realize, like, again, the timing. What's for me gonna be for me? Like I believe in God and all that. Like I pray, so I'm not tripping over none of that. Like the funny part is, and I know this may venture off your question, but like speaking to the confidence, I was at a point where I just wanted a new job, period. So it wasn't more so confidence. Oh, I don't have enough confidence to get this. Like, nah, this is the first thing I'm gonna take it. Okay. Taking interviews left and right. I had like a 4-hour interview. Didn't get it. Thought I was gonna get it.
That's a long time.
Ain't it though, for you not to get something? But then like 3 weeks later, that's when COVID really hit. And that job was dependent on groups of people. Wow. So had I gotten that, it would have made it really difficult, and I might not have been able to keep it.
Right.
So when I say timing, and then I look at how this happened, in the middle or shortly after, in the middle of COVID, it's like, all right, time was right. Everything good happened for a reason. I feel good about it. It's a good situation where I can grow, learn. Has nothing to do with like self-confidence. The lack of self-confidence. I feel like I'm confident enough to be there and succeed. I'd be lying and say if there wasn't a learning curve. Like anything you knew, there's some hesitation.
Oh yeah.
But outside of that, I'm like, no, this is a good opportunity. Like I wouldn't have wanted to jump too many steps because at the end of the day, you still, no matter how confident you are, you have to learn. To me, you have to learn, as much as possible on your way to the top so you can relate. If you're on the top, then theory people are underneath you, for lack of a better term, but you gotta be able to relate to them, like, or there's gonna be a disconnect. So
I agree with that.
I think I'm in a good place.
I will say is, like, statistically, Black people, we tend to only apply for jobs that we feel like we're overqualified for. White people or people of other ethnicities, they feel more comfortable applying for jobs that they're not qualified for, and they tend to get them more frequently than we do. So that's just something to keep in mind.
That's true.
Can I ask y'all both something?
Mm-hmm.
Were y'all taught self-confidence?
Yeah.
Where you were?
I was. My mom really like instilled that in me, like that you can do anything. Like if you were to talk to my mom, she would make you feel like you can go run for president next term, like, and you're not even old enough to run for president. Like she would make you feel like anything is possible.
What about you?
I don't know if I was taught it, but what I saw was self-preservation, hard work. So
You don't gotta be confident to do none of that. Neither one of those.
So, but I have realized recently that I do have insecurities, but my insecurities have never been in arenas that have got me to where I am. So, like, for example, in like elementary school, my mom said, you know, you can go to college for free if you get good grades or you're good at sports. So all I did was get.
They don't tell you gotta fill out a scholarship, but carry on. They make it seem like you get a couple A's. You get like, fam, no, I got to write this paper. But
so I always took school and sports very seriously and worked hard to be above average. Now, did I always excel in those? Was I always the best? No, but I was always better than average and way better than the worst. But I wasn't no valedictorian. I wasn't no, high D1 athlete. But I was good enough to get a scholarship to do both.
Can I coach you?
Of course.
Can I say something
Go
before?
ahead.
I will forget. I'm sorry. When college wasn't even talked about. Like, I don't know if it was a time, like, they didn't say get good grades, go to college. They're like, just get good grades in school. But
my mom said, if you don't get a scholarship, you're not going to college. So it was a choice.
At least you was talking about college. Like, I don't remember any conversations about college, period, in my home.
Yeah.
Darn it. I think I'm going to forget now. So he said he recently talked about realizing he has insecurities. Just to venture off a little bit, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times I don't know how sensitive women are when they're in a relationship with men with insecurities. I feel like they expect their man to be confident or to figure it out. Like, I haven't experienced somebody that would have been cool. Like, dang, I got an insecurity, because that's a sign of weakness. Like, so have you done that, or what do you think about that whole like scenario, being with a guy that's insecure? It can be insecure about whatever, his height, his job, his money, his skin, his hair, whatever. The relationship. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So I'm probably different. The same way I am like right now is like how I am. So I'm like, okay, well, like what's the root of like what you're feeling? I'm a communicator. So I am very accepting and supportive in general. When you ask me, like, if you were to ask me, what is my best trait? It would be that I'm supportive.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's probably because my mom is that way. So like my parents are still married.
Yeah.
My mom was a housewife for pretty much my life.
Yeah.
She doesn't really, well, they have a business now, but
yeah,
that's her job. And so I've just seen it. So like when you were like, you seem like you'd be in a relationship. I'm like, I'm a wife. Like I was raised to be a wife. So that's different than a lot of women. And for me, I would think that any woman that feels like a man showing insecurity or revealing insecurity as a weakness, if they interpret it that way, I would think that it's mostly just influenced by their lack of self-awareness.
Facts.
Because when you are self-aware, I think I'm highly self-aware, probably more than the average person. And so my whole thing is like, well, how do you feel right now? How do you feel? How do you feel? Like, and that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, because if I ask you how you feel right now and you tell me good, I'm like, that's not how you feel. Good is not an emotion. So I am like pushing for like, okay, tell me more. Like, I can help you get through whatever you're feeling. So I accept that. I appreciate that, because that's a higher level of trust. And that's how you judge the health of your relationships, is how much do I trust you?
I think it's so tough. I'm going to be honest. Like, I feel like the generation before us and even before that, they didn't dive this deep into their self-awareness. So they didn't have to deal with it, because they just didn't dive. Like, if they dove in this, I don't think.
Maybe they weren't aware.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
But now that I feel like our generation doing it, I think it makes it that much harder to be in a relationship, because you say building trust, but you got to get to a point where you build trust. Like, early on in a relationship, that insecurity that I got 5 months down the road, it was there the first 5 days.
Exactly.
So because of that, like, if I'm not who you think I am, blah, blah, like, it's for a reason. So it's like, do I even care to stick around to get to the point to maybe find out or not? And it's just, I think, is a matter of being patient and realize you have to learn a person.
Yeah.
Like, not, they're cute, they're smart, they got money. I can see myself with them. All right, we went on a few dates. We should date. All right, we're dating. In 2 years, I want to make... No, like, you have to get to know a person.
Yeah.
And by knowing a person, you'll, in theory, know how much they know themselves. Yeah. Which is ultimately just as important.
Yeah. It's like you have to exercise grace and just understanding that people are not necessarily... Everybody was raised differently. So the things that you know are not common sense to other people. And so... people, you can interpret this however you want, but I just assume people don't know until I tell you. If I tell you and you still don't do it or you don't respect it, you're making a decision. Yeah. But I can't assume that you know what I know initially.
I think you gotta be self-aware for that too, because it's so easy to be like, Dad, why didn't they hold the door open for me?
They just nobody ever made them do it.
Exactly. You don't think about that stuff. So, but I don't want to hold you up. I want to sit back and watch you life coach Danny. So please, I am quite entertained. Let me grab my agua. What do you think about Danny when you first saw him? And, what do you think about him now? Do you still think I'm nice and genuine?
I do.
And I'm still scattered?
I do think you're, I think,
what happened to just, chilling for a bit?
Right.
Oh, my bad. I was curious. I like to hear what people think about me.
No, I do think that you're very nice. I think you probably have a tendency to withhold your feelings to make other people feel more comfortable. And as to not upset people. I think it's probably important to you that people do perceive you as a nice person. What?
Not so much. I don't care if they like. I
said just sit back and laugh.
My bad. Like,
turn it on him. So.
Nah, my bad. No, I don't care if people think I'm nice or not. Like, because I'm just myself. Like, and like your perception of me is your perception of me. I can't.
Let me ask you this: if I said that I felt like you're probably a very selfish person and you're very guarded and intentionally hurtful to people, would that affect you?
No, because it's not true. You know what affects me though the most? When people think like I'm just super cocky and conceited. Like that's the one for me. Like, bro, like 6 pages, care. Bro. I don't care that much about myself. Like,
but you got 6 different pages about yourself, bro.
It's about my interests.
That's
about my interests. You got some pages too.
All about promoting something, not me.
Too much into yourself.
I don't know.
All right, we don't gotta talk about it. Let's talk about Danny. I'm gonna be quiet for real this time. All right.
I didn't talk as much to Danny beforehand, so I didn't have much of a perception. My perception is now being created in hearing him. But
we can make something up.
He doesn't say a whole lot though. So then my question for you: do you feel like you get passed over for things?
Are you scared to say a lot?
I don't think so.
You don't seem to assert yourself a lot, which is not necessarily bad. I'm assuming that you probably listen closely to people, but oftentimes when that happens, we get looked over sometimes.
I have been passed over for promotions before. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe one that I really thought I deserved.
Do you see other people getting opportunities for things that you are capable and able to do?
Can you get an example?
Like, for example, my last job, I was there for 2 years, and I was pretty much doing 2 roles, and I knew I was underpaid. Like, I'm doing the work of 2 people, but I'm only getting paid for 1. So my manager told me that I would be getting a promotion, but he also told me that he wanted me to be more vocal and everything like that, because I think I'm smart. I have great ideas, but I sometimes do not do the best job at voicing them, maybe from an insecurity of thinking that the idea is not that great when it comes to expressing it, or just not being comfortable enough to put myself out there and express it. So that's something that professionally I am working on, and then personally in my relationships with being transparent about how I feel, because my last relationship, I hid a lot of issues inside to sacrifice happiness for someone else. Now, in my relationship, I put my insecurities out there, like, yo, this is how I felt. This is why I did this, because it's coming from me not thinking that I was good enough in my previous relationship to have that person. So personally, I've done a lot of that work. Professionally, I'm now getting to the point where the next logical step would be management level. I think I'm in sales, but from a sales perspective, I have reached that plateau, or at least getting to that point where I would reach that plateau. So now I have no choice but to be uncomfortable and put myself out there and my ideas out there. But there's still that insecurity where I don't know if I'm good enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's so interesting because sales is sort of an assertive role.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a very, like, literally how I talk is how I sell people. Like,
Yeah.
okay, listen, this is, if I was you, I would do it like
I mean, that's not the voice you use.
I mean, I got a little some phone voice, but I'm a very, like, customer advocate. Like, I'm not the, do it today, I'll give you XYZ off. I'm not aggressive like that.
I would perceive you to be that way. More on the aggressive side.
When I was in sales, I was just more personable. I wasn't super aggressive like do X, Y, and Z because I was a full believer of two things. Like, one, people know when you're trying to sell something. Like, and two, if they don't want it, they don't want it. Like, it don't matter how good the product is. If they're not in the mood or space to purchase it, they're not going to do it. So I'll just talk to them, see, like, have a conversation with them. Like, if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. But sales isn't my thing. Cause I don't like talking to people like that.
Yeah.
Like, not random people. Like, if we cool, all right, I'll talk to you, but I gotta pick up the phone. Like, no. Like, so I'm in marketing actually. So I get to be behind the computer, type, figure out advertising things. I don't really gotta talk to people outside of the contact who I may be marketing something for.
And I don't like talking to people either. I mean, we do this podcast.
Meanwhile,
we do this this podcast is probably the most that
Facts.
I open up and have opened up. And
especially with random people.
My family has learned things about me from this podcast that we've never talked about before.
It's so interesting because the way he describes himself is how I perceive you, but you have not said that you're that way.
Which
about like even in relationships, about him like kind of not being comfortable saying things that
I'm like that way. Yeah.
When I said that, you said that's not how you are.
You didn't bring up relationships.
I said that's how you are. You tried
duality,
to.
you know what? To be completely honest, I've only been in one real relationship,
Okay.
which I'm currently in. So like that is not front of mind, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know, but like,
Dang, she ain't front of mine.
Here you go.
You said that's the
Oh
one.
my God!
Wait,
Are you trying to have me killed? What's up?
you said that's the one you're currently in.
Yes,
but
yes.
you didn't think to say
Just
like,
me as a person. I said I'm not an open book.
But when I was
I thought that sufficed.
Boy, running around the mountain, ain't you?
No, 'cause I was
That was
like, I
suffice.
feel like sometimes you hold back how you feel about stuff because it'll upset the other
Other
person.
person.
And you
She
said
said-
no.
I ain't gonna hold you. I thought about everything. but
Damn. He said, "Yeah, I
But-
got my hair page, and I'll be holding back. That's really me."
but no. So to speak on the relationship, I've done that in the relationship as
Did
well.
you not want to bring it up? You didn't
No,
bring
I
the
was-
relationship
you know what?
up? It's okay if you did.
You know what?
Go somewhere else. If you
No.
wanna talk about it.
You want to know what I was thinking about? I'm thinking about my friends and my coworkers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone because I have more questions, but I'm gonna just leave that alone.
For me or him?
For you.
I'm cool.
So,
I mean, are you done thinking of him?
It may
I got more
come
work
back-
to-
it may
I got
come
more
back
work to
up,
be
but
done,
when
huh?
you say that makes I don't want to make nobody upset.
No, we good.
Why is she not front of your mind
oh boy.
when I ask you about tendencies that you have? Why don't you think
It's
about
not
that?
front of mind. Is because again, I don't open up, so that's more personal. Like, so it has to be like a direct question about it. I'm not gonna volunteer that information about that space of my life. I'll volunteer information about friends or work or anything else.
So you wanting to be private. Is that like the...
Yeah, I'm more private when it
Wanting
comes
that.
to
Okay.
the relationship aspect. Again, I'll talk about it if it's asked directly, but I'm not going to volunteer it.
But I'm going to be honest, the same way like what you were just saying, that it's in both spheres, however you're kind of tackling it in relationships and it hasn't yet like poured over. I would be surprised if you're that way in your relationship and it doesn't appear anywhere else in your life.
As far as being private?
Well, no, as far as like wanting to maybe not hurt someone's feelings, and so not being completely. I know men do that a lot.
I think the reason is slightly different. I probably do it in other
areas.
aspects, but I think it's slightly different because I don't have a deep enough relationship with anybody else like that. Like if the friendship goes to here, it's no reason for me to be up there with.
At a distance.
Yeah. Like so, it doesn't get there. As far as the relationship is concerned, it's a constant. Not battle, but it's a lesson learned. Like you're constantly learning and growing in it, and we're doing it together. So certain things she doesn't open up about, and then certain things I don't, and then we're figuring out, okay, she didn't open up about this, he didn't open up, and we're figuring it out as we go. Which I feel like that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, in theory, before a relationship, you will want to do a lot of self work prior as much as possible, but it doesn't always happen like that. Everything isn't always planned.
No, that's true.
So we're figuring it out as we go, and we love and care about each other enough that we're being patient with it. Not to say it's easy, but it's a relationship.
No, that's true.
So
That's true.
Cute save.
wow!
I don't want to make nobody upset.
No,
so
it's this. No, you're good. It's him I don't trust. It's him I don't
I
trust.
don't want to make anybody upset.
I need a new co-host. You need.
But yeah. I don't know.
So before we get out of here, I want to ask you, what has been, if you were to give someone advice that came to you and said, you know what, I'm struggling, what's the first thing I need to do to work on myself, what would be that advice?
So I'll start with how my book starts. So the first section of my book is about trust. I've found a lot of times along the way, if you feel like you need to work on yourself, there's some trust that's missing with you, within yourself. And a lot of times it's easy for us to forgive other people. It's harder for us to forgive ourselves for things that we allowed other people to do to us, things that we feel like we should have known, situations we should have navigated differently. Maybe we wish we would have gotten closer to some people and distanced ourselves from other people. And so if you're really lost, there's probably some element of trust that's missing. And what happens is, if I don't trust myself, then I don't trust myself to make good decisions. And so now I'm like stagnant. I'm all over the place and I can't decide on what to do. Or I can't trust myself when it comes to like, oh, I want to befriend this person. Or I want to go into this business. I want to start a business for myself. I don't trust myself. And it may seem like those things are unrelated, but they're so deeply related to each other. So once you rebuild trust, you're able to rebuild confidence. You're able to rebuild better relationships. You're able to like do all of these things that you might not feel comfortable doing otherwise. So that's where it starts.
I like it. No, I'm good.
Simple.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's great advice.
Thank
this
you.
has been a great session. I feel better. Do you feel better?
I feel lighter.
Do you really?
Like a
Are you
feather.
being serious?
Yes. Yes. I'm glad. I mean, honestly, I do want more episodes like this, like with all of our guests. A lot of times it's us sort of trying to dig into them. So
Yeah.
it's good to have that reciprocated.
Was that
our way.
uncomfortable at all? You could be honest.
You seemed a little
No.
seemed a little uncomfortable, man.
You want to know the most uncomfortable?
Be honest.
You want to know the most uncomfortable part about it?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't me and you.
Okay.
It was having him across the table from me. That guy had to look around, see that smug look on his face. That was the uncomfortable part for me.
Okay.
I'm cool with
Okay.
you. We
Okay.
good. It was like, man, just
It's hard to have like those types of conversations too around people that know you. Like I don't know y'all like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I can ask whatever, and I really don't know certain stuff. I probably ask. He's probably like, I wonder what he's gonna say. Like, I wonder what the answer is gonna be.
I mean, if
So
you want to ask Danny two more questions, I'm not gonna stop you. You know.
Yeah, this is what I do.
It was good.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been great.